this is not a young man. I would say.
Oh, cheers. Thank you very much. So you're saying that you think I'll be dead by the time this tour
You're putting
starts?
words into my mouth. It was more general, my remark.
Right, I shall remember that.
DLs, welcome back to Whitehall Towers. This is number 2 of an exciting initiative from our leaders at HQ, because we're video live now as well as audio live. I mean, I've wrestled all week, Michael, with this. Because
Wrestled
with this concept.
What a women's wrestling thing.
It's a thought. I think at 64, perhaps a little bit late in my career to be taking up wrestling.
You could do the veteran.
Oh, thanks.
Section.
Cheers.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Veteran lady wrestlers.
Thanks, PPJ, for laughing so not half-heartedly, very...
I think you get a big audience of people. Probably slightly strange people, but you still get it.
So we better get on with it. I'll tell you what you can expect. We say, on your bike, to a DL who can't make up his mind.
Had it not been her own work, I would have said, you must be joking, darling, at that price. F off.
We share a disagreement over a certain publication.
It's a very thick
It is.
piece of journalism.
But I must hold my hand up and say, every week I say to you, do we really need to continue with the subscription? And you go, yes, I like it. And we sashay our way over the finish line. It's one of life's joys watching Mr Whitehall sashay. You can do a good sashay, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Olympic standard sashay.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a very deep house, so there's a long area in which he can sashay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your stomach rumbling?
It is. My stomach is rumbling because I think I had too much toast.
Okay.
Toast and marmalade. I normally have one piece, but I think I had 2.
Okay.
And since then, my tummy's been rumbling.
Well, at least you had breakfast. Some of us were busy doing PT before this and then walking the dog. So I've done a full morning's work before I've even put my arse on this sofa. No,
Right.
DLs, I want to come back to this thing that I was wrestling with. Because now that we are video enabled, thanks to the bosses at HQ.
Are we?
Yeah, this is all being filmed, Michael, for
Right.
a visual representation of the podcast.
But wasn't it always like that?
No, it was only ever clipped out for clips. Now it's the full episode is available on YouTube. Oh, Michael.
So people would listen to it or
watch
show.
it. Or they can watch the whole show now on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, this is what I'm wrestling with, because technically DLs is a misnomer because we've got video people now. So are we going to change it to the DAs, the dear audience? No.
No.
Because we could... We need a catch-all.
No.
We need to think about this. So, DLs, if you have any
DLs
suggestions,
for the moment.
DLs and video watchers, please email in if you have a suggestion of a catch-all. What is it called? Moniker. A catch-all moniker for everybody. Audience.
Moniker. That's an old Cockney word for face, isn't it?
No, it's name, isn't it? A moniker. Is a name.
Is it a name? I always thought it was a face.
Okay, as we're on visuals, I've just got to do this. I'm
also,
going to turn this
can I
round.
say something as we're on visuals?
Yeah, hang on. I'm just doing this because this is what's known as Hilary Cam now. Because I'm matching. I just want to say one thing, PPJ. Yes. I'm going to match you now because this is Hilary Cam. Okay. Quiff for quiff. Have you noticed?
Yeah, we are quiffing today,
We're
aren't we?
quiffing. You're quiffing.
Yeah.
And I'm quiffing.
Fine.
There we go. Hilary Cam.
This is presumably deliberate to annoy me.
Why?
Because I don't have any hair.
No, it's just quiff for quiff because as I was getting that hair under control.
If we are seriously being filmed,
yes, which
I give you a note.
Yes.
That I give you all the time. It's something you have in common with your son Jack.
Yes, the waggling foot.
The waggling foot.
Yep.
This foot down there wiggles all the time. Goes like this. The minute Jack gets up to sort of there when he's talking to somebody. I mean,
there we go.
he doesn't do it on stage
I don't-
quite so much.
I
but-
think the way that PPJ crops this, you won't see that foot.
Really?
Maybe you will.
We'll get a sense of it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just think, just keep it still.
Also, the really, really, really mean trick of the bosses at HQ is that they've decided to start filming this full episodes for YouTube during hay fever season, because I'm still absolutely drained and riven with hay fever, so I can't get any makeup on. Thank God, Michael Whitehall, for Vaseline rose-tinted lip balm. Thank you very much. Did put a bit of blush on, but I can't get anything near these eyes other than an eye drop. So I'm not looking my best.
And I have to thank Eucerin for my skin.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think you need to thank Hilary Whitehall for the regime that I put you through before
Yes,
this.
that's true.
Look at that.
I've got the
That.
skin of a
Baby.
baby.
You've got some other things that are a bit
baby's
baby-like
bottom.
as well.
My face looks like a baby's bottom.
And can I just say, DLs,
Yeah.
his bottom does not look like a baby's bottom. Sorry, that was a bit early doors in the episode to get going.
Right.
Could I just say, DLs, the reason too that I'm looking so smart is I'm doing what's known in the trade as an eek, because we went to a funeral yesterday, didn't we?
We did.
A very mightily fine funeral it was too. Very formal. A full mass, wasn't it, Michael?
It was.
Fauré's Requiem throughout. It was a beautiful, beautiful send-off for our friend, was it not?
It was.
But this dress I wore for the funeral, and I thought, okay, I can get a bit more wear out of that because it only had 2 hours wear yesterday morning. I'll wear it for the podcast and I'll look very formal. Sadly, we were unable to join them at the wake because we had an appointment that we had to get to. But you did hear a very funny exchange, did you not, as we left the funeral?
Did I?
The waitress, when somebody asked her about what was on her tray of drinks.
Well, this lady who looked like somebody who was extremely pleased with herself, very grand,
Okay.
and this woman standing with this tray of drinks, and she said, "Oh, jolly good. Is that champagne?" And the woman looked at her and said, "No, it's Prosecco."
Okay.
I thought she was going to say, "No, it's Prosecco, so you can fuck off with your champagne. You're not getting that, love." But she didn't say that.
No, not appropriate
She
language.
just
in a church.
said-
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it
it's Prosecco.
isn't. It's Prosecco.
There was a wonderful moment. Just going back to the service. There was a wonderful moment. Well, I thought it was wonderful because we were actually quite near the back because it was an absolutely ram-packed church.
Why were we near the back?
Because we were late.
As always.
Yes. We just about made it into the church before the coffin.
Yeah.
But we were one row ahead of Patricia Hodge, who got there before us.
Yes.
So, anyway,
That's good.
there was a wonderful moment when they were doing the final sprinkling of the holy water on the coffin for the, for the coffin to be taken out, when the sun came out and there were 2 windows high up in the roof, and this shaft of light came through these 2 windows and landed on the husband of the deceased and the daughter. It was like like our friend was saying bye-bye. I actually, I'm afraid, Michael, got my phone out and took a picture of it for them.
You did. I
And I
was worried.
showed it. I know, and I was very subtle, but I showed it to the daughter afterwards, who then burst into tears and said, "Will you send it to me?" I said, "Yes, I will," because it was a wonderful moment. I digress. So that's why I'm looking quite so formal.
Mhm.
You're always looking formal, but I don't always do big formality. So here I am in my dress from yesterday. Also, the person who died loved bright red, bright pink. So it was a good combo, Michael.
Mhm.
Should we do an email, Mr. Whitehall?
Yeah. Which one?
I'd like that bottom one, please.
What, the one that starts at the very bottom of the page?
Yes, PPJ, quick note, please.
What? Look at your printer today.
No. What did I say? Did I say it would help me if you could number the pages?
Oh, he's
Ha
got the
ha!
ball there. He's
He
got the
has.
ball in.
Ticked off.
I'll show myself out. So sorry.
I'm a Siridol.
Or is it Siradol?
Siradol
Or
works.
a Siridol? Or a
I'm
Siridol?
a Siridol, because it's S-I-R.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Siridol. That's a DL
Or a
who is
Siradol? Sorry. I'll stop.
I'm a Siridol. That's a DL who is stuck in the review abyss. We all buy things online these days, and it's easy, as demonstrated perfectly by Michael and his impulse purchases of a plastic owl. I was very impressed with how quickly his fingers danced through the Amazon marketplace to buy it. I also envied the no-nonsense approach, because I am incapable of this sort of haste.
Unlike you, you are the king of the impulse buy. On holiday, online, in a shop, anywhere. You literally see something and we're having that.
The thing about me, though, is that I have changed.
I hadn't
Because
noticed.
nowadays, holiday buys would only involve clothes. So I might buy a hat or I might buy a shirt.
I've never heard such
30
rubbish.
years ago, I used to buy oil paintings abroad.
Yes, and who had to bring them back?
And Hilary, you used to bring them back.
Sorry, can I just...
Some of them were very large too.
Sorry, what are
But
these?
no,
Here,
I would
look,
never
what are
do that.
these? We've got about 8 of those. Where are they from?
What is that?
That fish.
Yes,
That-
well,
we've
that's a
got 8
little.
of them.
It's a nice little ornamental fish.
Yeah, from where?
I
From
don't remember.
Sardinia.
That we bought.
That?
Yeah, well, because you took me to that shop.
I did.
And the woman who carved her own stuff was running the shop.
Stuff.
And she said, do you like this? I said, oh, I like that, because
Yeah.
you've made it look like a tree.
Yeah,
It's
clever that.
amazing, and it's got little
drawers,
drawers in
yeah.
it. And I said, so who made that then? She said, I did. And I said,
It's quite
oh,
dusty.
and how much is it? And she told me, and had it not been her own work, I would have said, you must be joking, darling, at that price. F off. But of course I said, oh, only whatever it was.
Let me find my credit
Oh,
card.
I said, Hilary,
Anything
credit
else up
card.
there? Yeah, those frogs up there.
Yes,
They came from France.
yes,
And
that's
there's
true.
a whole
They
load
did.
of bugs over there, which same purchase. I mean, the Kiwis
Have you
from
s-
New Zealand.
Yeah,
And also not just one Kiwi, but you said, I love a pair.
yes. So we've got they're rather sweet.
I'm going to
those
have to get
Kiwis.
one of those down. Hang on. This is exhausting. Sorry about this, DLs, but if we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly.
Just to let you know, you're sitting on your
I
phone.
know, it's all chaos. That,
I think it's rather
yeah,
sweet.
it is quite sweet, but we did not have much room left in the luggage.
That isn't going to take
How's
up
that?
any room in the luggage.
Sorry, there were 2 of them that had to be bubble wrapped and then wrapped in
Yeah.
tissue. Tissue
Well,
bubble
you have
wrap.
to have a pair. You can't buy
Yeah.
things in a singleton like that.
And then who has to carry them home?
Well, you do, because
So,
I'm elderly. And
That
I,
statement that you've just come out with about I only buy clothes on holiday now is absolute
no, but I mean,
bollocks.
it's not like I used to buy paintings.
Well,
I
you
go
do
to
still
an
buy
art-
paintings, but not on holiday,
No,
fortunately.
I used to go to an art exhibition in a town
Javier.
in
I remember.
Javier.
Javier, yeah.
And the man would be there, and then he'd introduce me to this other man, and he said,
Who's the
"Oh,
artist.
and he's the artist." And then I said, "Well, I love that picture." "Oh, yeah, you like that picture?" "Yes."
So
he said.
no accents, thank
And
you.
then he'd say how much it was, and I'd say, "Oh, that's very reasonable." And then I'd say, "Hilary."
Yeah, and then I'd have to get them bubble
Um,
wrapped up and carry them on my back
Yeah.
on the way home. And then what happened to the 2 paintings we bought in Javier?
What did happen?
They ended up in the cellar because you decided you didn't like them when you got them home. Kel
It's
surprise.
known as a holiday buy.
Sorry, the other one, which we touched on probably in the first series of the Wittering Whitehalls back in the mists of time, was when you found some very, very odd wine with Nazi
Yes, we've
leaders
still
on
got
a
that.
Yes, who was it that had to bring back the 8 bottles of red wine
It
from
had
the Italian bakery?
labels with
Yes.
Hitler and Mussolini and people.
And Franco.
And Franco.
Very, very odd.
And it was red wine.
And it was in a sort of, it was a butcher's. It was an
It was in
Italian butcher's.
Yes.
Yeah. And who had to bring them
And
back in
just
a
because
backpack?
it was so bizarre, I think we got quite a lot.
It was either 6 or 8 bottles.
Yeah. But I don't do that sort of thing anymore.
He does. He does. Anyway, carry on with the email, Michael. Sorry.
Right.
Sort of haste.
So long
right.
ago.
Okay.
I've forgotten I was reading it. I want to buy a bicycle.
So do I, which is why I've picked out this email.
I'm 47. I know. It's a stereotypical thing to do. And yes, I am about to join the legions of mammals.
Mammals. Okay.
That's a middle-aged man in lycra for Michael.
Oh.
But I've made up my mind. Except I haven't, because I've been trawling internet reviews and forums for 6 months now, and I'm no closer to parting with my hard-earned cash. I have my budget in mind, and I've spoken to many experts in cycle shops. Do they have experts in cycle shops?
They sure do. I'm going to come on to that.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, if I was an expert, I'm not sure that I'd want to be in a cycle shop.
Well, you would
I'd
if you
rather
were an
be at the
expert
sort
in
of-
bicycles, Michael. That
Oh,
would be
I
your
see.
home of choice.
Oh, I see. Yes. Sorry, I
Well,
thought.
what did you think? They were art experts.
Yes, I thought. I was thinking of somebody that
Some
would
medical
normally
expert.
be at the sort of
I'm a
Royal
gastroenterologist and I'm going to work in a
Yeah.
bike shop.
Yes.
So ridiculous.
But the world of cycling is complicated, and it's all about what you want your bike to do.
Uh-huh.
I'd quite like to do a bit of everything, but that inevitably means compromise.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting off track, and I'm in danger of being a boring mammal.
Of being a boring mammal. Not just
Oh,
a
sorry,
mammal,
a
but a
boring
boring mammal.
mammal.
Yeah.
Which is even worse, so I'll draw a veil over that, as the saying goes. I know Mr. Whitehall has a bike.
Mrs. Whitehall. It's
Oh,
got an
sorry.
S. Oh, God, you haven't got a... When did you last have a bike? I'll tell you when you last had a bike. 1989, when the children were little and it got stolen, as referenced in the podcast at some
How do
point.
you know that then?
Because I do, babe. I have that kind of brain.
Okay. I know Mrs. Whitehall has a bike.
do.
Which, if I remember correctly, she once fell off.
I did. Many stitches were involved in my shin. Yep.
An isolated incident, I hope.
Correct.
Is there any untapped knowledge or opinions that would help sway my decision? Yours in anguish, Ian.
I know you're not going to have much to say on this subject, are you? Because you don't possess a bicycle.
I would say that I have totally nothing to say other than I loathe those bikes, that the lime bikes.
Oh, yes. We know that, Michael. You have...
That
Do you know,
people
you haven't mentioned that
hair
much
down
before.
each streets, the roads, terrible.
Yeah.
They pick them up, they throw them down when they're finished with them. No training.
No high-vis jackets
There's
or...
a very sweet, quite elderly lady who lives round the corner here.
She wouldn't thank you for that.
And she would not thank me for that.
No,
what I'm going to say.
Being an elderly lady, I'm sure she doesn't view
No,
herself as
she
an
is
elderly,
an
lady.
elderly lady, then.
Just as
What?
you're an elderly gentleman.
Yes.
Because I think she's a year younger than you.
Yes, so she's an elderly lady.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to know what she would say?
I do.
She would say that it's absolutely outrageous that when she goes sort of slightly wobbly off for a walk along the towpath,
Yeah.
these bikes are roaring past her, and they never slow down. Or it's very much that it's their road. It's our
Yes, actually, it's pedestrian priority on the towpath,
Hmm.
not dog priority, because of course Billy got hit by a bike. Anyway, I digress. I do have a lot to say about this because I too am I'm thinking of buying another bicycle. The bike I have here, I bought from On Your Bike in East Grinstead, the most amazing independent bike shop. I would say, because you've mentioned it in here, independent bike shops are the way forward.
in Bournemouth.
East Grinstead.
I thought you said you bought it in Bournemouth.
East Grinstead.
Right.
They have a branch in East Grinstead, a branch in Birmingham, and a branch in Borough. And they've been at it since 1983. That's why I picked them, because I thought these people are going to know what they're talking about.
But when you made the
There's
decision,
Robert and Mish who own it, and they work in the shop, and they are so super helpful.
how did your mind work on the basis of you're sitting here thinking, I think I maybe ought to get a bike?
Yeah.
And your mind comes back and says, I think that's a very good idea, Hilary.
Yeah, talking to myself
Where
in my head.
would you go? And your mind comes back and your voice comes back and says, what about East Grinstead? And they say, oh, nice idea, Hilary. Not the bike shop up the towpath here. No, I think East Grinstead is the place to go for a bike.
Could I just clarify why this happened?
Where would you come from, the idea
Right,
of
the
East
bike shop up the
Grinstead?
road, very specialist racing bikes, so I wouldn't be buying it from there.
Right.
Okay.
And there's no nearer
Yes,
place than
there's
East
one in
Grinstead.
Borough On Your Bike. The reason I went to East Grinstead is
Yes.
because I was visiting my mother.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was on the way to my mother.
Right.
And it looked interesting. So I went in and as I said, I met Robert and Mish who run it, who own it, and have been doing it since 1983. I needed a very specific requirement because I needed to get a dog basket fixed to the back of the hybrid bike that I then chose with their advice.
In East Grinstead.
In East Grinstead. Also,
And were you going to take the dog to East Grinstead?
The
to
dog
be
was with me.
fitted? Oh, right.
And I'd got the dog basket that I wanted to put on the back.
Right.
There was no fixing available to meld the two together, so they made me one. And that's the joy of the independent bike shop, is that they will go above and beyond to make sure that you get what you want.
Well, they certainly went beyond. If you had to go all the way to East Grinstead.
I keep telling you, there's one in London, Michael, in Borough. There's a massive On Your Bike in Borough.
Why didn't you go there then?
Because my mother doesn't live in Borough. She wasn't living in Borough at the time. I went to East Grinstead to visit my mother in Crowborough.
Right.
Okay? Anyway, we're
Yeah.
getting bogged down here because the point being, Michael, that you
Yeah.
need to find a bike shop, independent bike shop that you like, go in there, ask the experts, because they will help you pick the bike that you want. In fact, I am going down to see another relative and I'm popping in to see Mish because I want to get an electric bike. It's whether I get an electric bike or an electric folding bike. I'm very tempted by the new Brompton that's a folding bike because you can take that on the train and the tube.
Does it fold itself automatically?
No, you have to do the folding.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah, the
Mish
electric
said
bit.
they've got a demonstration model which I'm going to go and try out. Right, Mr Whitehall, on y va. Why don't you read the next one? Because that's quite a quick one, to be honest.
It's very short.
It's very
this
short,
one.
but very relevant to you.
Hi, Hilary and Michael.
Hello.
It's Joe from Plymouth.
Oh,
Definitely a DDL. Originally from Plymouth, moved back 4 years ago.
oh.
Previously lived 20 plus years in London and knows southwest London very well, and Chelsea too.
Mm.
So love listening to you chatting about your manor. That's MANOR,
Do you think she
manor.
enjoyed the conversation about East Grinstead?
Just a quick question. Do you take Country Life magazine? Much love, Joe, kiss. P.S. Hurry up with the merch.
Work in progress
Kiss.
for the tour. Yes, please remember, DLs, we are going on tour. Oh my God. How seamless was that? Please check out. I've forgotten what the bloody email address is now.
Oh,
Not
it was
email.
going so
I know.
well.
Please check out the witteringwhitehalls.co.uk for all ticketing information, because we want you there. We need you there. We love you guys. We want to meet you in person. Merch will be available. So check it out. The witteringwhitehalls.co.uk for all ticketing information. PPJ, remind us where we're going.
Stoke,
Stoke.
York, Guildford, Richmond, Oxford, Birmingham, Bradford, Crewe, Harrogate, Stockton and Salford.
For now.
For now.
For now. That's the important bit, because I've got a lot of messages about, why aren't you coming here? Why aren't you coming here? Just patience. Patience.
No dates in the West Country, I noticed.
As yet. But watch this space. We will see.
I'll shift a few tickets in Bristol. Don't you worry.
Thank you very much. Could I just say that the Wittering Whitehalls Barely Alive is a marathon, not a sprint. Yes?
I was going to say that this is just a rather exclusive group of dates we're going to begin with.
Yeah. But by the same token, if you're in the catchment area, and I would say that the catchment area is probably a couple of hours away. I'd get on with it, to be honest, because this is not a young man. I would say.
Oh, cheers. Thank you very much. So you're saying that you think I'll be dead by the time this tour
You're putting
starts?
words into my mouth. It was more general, my remark.
Right, I shall remember that. Now,
Right,
Joe, well, I haven't answered your question. Do you take Country Life
Joe, what I would say is,
magazine?
what do you think?
Country Life is an amazing publication. It really is. I mean, it's almost like a book.
It's an
some
institution.
of the stuff, and they're so dense with stuff. And okay, a little expensive maybe, but on subscription, not outrageously expensive. And I read every one. I mean, I don't read every word in it, obviously, but I do read it.
We have a discussion about this every week when it plops through the letterbox. You know, when you say you read every word, I'm skeptical about that.
I don't mean I didn't mean every word. I read every section of it, because it's always got interesting things on different pages. It's not just about country life. That's the title, I know, but it's about a lot of other things.
Yeah. I mean, it does have good articles in it. I'll give it that. I don't know how they push it out every week. It's a massive publication to get out every week.
It is massive too.
So there you go, Joe. He does. And it's a point of discussion between us quite frequently. But he likes it, so I let him have it. When she says she's a DDL, which I think is probably a dedicated dear listener, I think she should be a DDDL. Devon dedicated dear listener, a DDDL, triple DL. Triple DL! There you go, Joe. I've given you a new moniker. A lot of monikers in this episode.
Dear Michael and Hilary, and of course PPJ, I write to you as an expat of 35 years, Duddle, down under, dear listener.
Oh, okay. Yep.
In Christchurch, New Zealand.
Oh.
I was delighted to see you live this January, and I'm loving your podcast, which I was introduced to when you spoke of it on stage.
On-stage marketing successful, Michael.
Very good.
Did what it said on the tin.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I regret I didn't have the courage to run up to you for a selfie as you left the venue and jumped into your white car to go to your hotel. Anyway, you now bring me many smiles and laughter on my car journey to and from work.
Did you hear that? My stomach.
I thought it was a passing car.
No.
My question is about the very catchy music you use as the theme for your Witterings. Whenever it plays, I have an image of Michael jauntily sashaying, don't you love that word?
I do.
Down your hallway, one hand in the air, clicking time, perhaps a slight nodding of the head in time to the music, and then producing a drum roll flourish at the end with his arms. Was it composed for the podcast? Or if not, what is it?
Interestingly, no name.
No.
No name has been given.
Oh, I might have cut that off.
Ah,
There's a
okay.
chance I cut that off.
Right, okay. So
Bear with.
PPJ, a bit of technical issue there.
It's Sue.
Sue! Hello, Sue.
Sue.
Sue from Christchurch. I'm sorry that you didn't feel that you could run over, enough courage to run over and get a selfie as we jumped into the white van. I have to say, Sue, in Christchurch, we did have to, it was a big venue and there were a lot of people. And had we stayed to have selfies with everyone, we would have got home at about 3 a.m. and Mr. Whitehall needed dinner. Did you not?
We did.
Of which we had some spectacular dinners in Christchurch. Do you
Because
remember we went to a Greek restaurant that was fabulous. We went to a Chinese that I think we've talked about with Barney, which was fabulous. And we went to the tasting menu with the British chef at Natty, which was fabulous. We had, can I just say, the gourmet situation down in Christchurch, fabulous.
Mhm.
And actually the audiences were cracking, were they not?
Cracking.
Belting.
What you meant?
Beltingly good. No, crackingly good.
Oh, I see. So
Love
I thought
them.
you meant that it's creaking and cracking.
So I'm sorry we didn't meet you, Sue.
No.
But we had a lovely time.
We did in one venue. I think it was before when we were trying out some
Material?
material before we headed off for Australia.
What,
and
when
New
we did the 4
Zealand.
shows in 3 days, you mean?
And I've got a feeling we had car park gate where we came out of a venue
Yeah.
and didn't
Oh,
move
God, I've remembered.
fast.
No, sorry. That was,
Move
that was, no.
very
You're
slowly.
absolutely right. It was at Cheltenham.
Yes.
Oh,
We
that was
moved
where you
very
lost your
slowly.
shit. We were definitely managing a tantrum that night because we were literally at the back of the queue trying to exit the Cheltenham Racecourse car park where we had performed. And because it took us so long to get from the stage to the car.
Because we were talking and chatting.
It just there was a very, very long walk and you have to go through the sort of, there's a whole sort of conference centre that you have to get through before you even get out of the building, get in the car. And then you're the wrong end of the car park because everyone else has got to their car before you because they've just come out of the auditorium and straight into their car.
So who are you blaming for this? Then?
I'm not, well, the design of the theatre, I guess, is what I'm blaming.
Fine. So
But
the architect.
you literally lost your shit because there were lots of people banging on the window doing a lot of, I mean, you were charming to them, just less charming to my good self. Anyway, we were there for so long. I think it took us nearly 50 minutes to get out of the car park. Jack was about 4 cars ahead of us because he was going somewhere else.
Yes.
And I then said, "Oh, Michael, I think I've got a bottle of champagne
And
in
our
the boot."
charming
and I got it out.
driver-
Yes, he was laughing.
I kept apologising to him. Because,
Sorry, I had to ring him up the following morning and apologise for your behaviour because the language in that car was unreal.
Yeah, but it was
Michael
not
Whitehall.
directed at him.
No, it was just directed at the situation. But
I think it was directed actually at the producers.
Yeah,
of it.
Phil Mack got it in the neck,
Yes, I
and he
think
wasn't
he
even
did.
there. Actually, he had been there,
Yeah.
but you kept saying, "I bet he's got out of the fucking
Which
car
indeed
park."
he had. He got out very quickly. But no, left the talent stranded there for hours.
in amongst your fans. You were charming to the fans, I have to say, less charming to me. But I did get the bottle of champagne out of the boot of the car, opened it. I think you actually drank it out of the bottle, which is very unlike you. That's how desperate you were. And I even had a packet of peanuts in the boot of the car as well. So we had a little picnic.
I mean, how you can call that a little picnic? As though it was some, I was throwing down the rug and we were under the stars and everything. I was swearing like a trooper.
I seem to remember too, it was freezing cold.
It was
Yeah,
freezing
'cause it was
cold.
the winter. In answer to your question, would you like to read? Because PPJ has provided us with the answer.
The music is called Sweet Dandelion Blue
Oh,
by Martin Clem.
Martin Clem.
That's
Okay.
Klem.
Okay. Thank you, Martin.
It's a piece of library production music, so you might even hear it elsewhere.
I mean, I would argue that needs to be taken off the library music because it is now so associated with Wittering Whitehalls.
Yes,
It is our
I
theme
would
tune,
agree.
and I don't want anybody else having it.
No.
We may
Maybe
have to
we
say
should,
to Mr. Clem, we're having it, love.
Maybe we should approach the head of library production music and say, hands off, Sweet Dandelion Blue.
No, I think the person...
Or you'll regret it.
Ooh. There's fighting talk.
Yeah?
I think the person you need to actually approach is Mr. Clem.
Right.
Because it's he, I would think, owns the copyright on it, or the, what is it, licensing of.
Right.
Don't know. Maybe he's on a buyout. Who knows, Michael Whitehall? Could I just say, though, to Sue, Mr. Whitehall's sashaying is a sight to behold. It's a joy. It's one of life's joys, watching Mr. Whitehall's sashay. You can do a good sashay, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Olympic standard sashaying.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very deep house, so there's a long area in which he can sashay.
Mm-hmm.
It's an elongated sashay when he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, on that note, I'm going to bring this to a close, Mr. Whitehall.
Oh, really?
I'm also going to throw down a challenge to the DLs/DWs/DAs, whatever we come up with. You're going to have to get into a continuity situation. I want you to point out continuity bloopers, because PPJ has got enough on his plate without worrying about continuity, because we do have to film the beginning at the end, which means that...
Oh, she's letting them know all the bloody secrets now.
Well, just so that you're off the hook, PPJ.
Yeah, do you know what? It's because it's all organic. It's because when we press record, we've no idea what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So we can't tell
It's
them
not
at the beginning what's going to happen. 'Cause
exactly,
we don't know what's
and it's all beautifully improvised, not pre-prepped, etc. And that's the joy of it. You see, fresh. It's organic. Anyway. Please do what you do so well. Rate, review, share, subscribe, tell your friends, follow the show, email in, please. Voice note in, please. We love a voice note on the video too, because that's visually exciting. Listening to a phone. Voice notes, WhatsApps, emails, we love them because you are the beating heart of the podcast. PPJ is the soul. Don't know what you are. What did I decide you were? Can't remember now.
Don't laugh at me, 'cause I'm a fool.
Oh.
Who sang that?
Norman Wisdom.
Norman Wisdom in
Trouble in Store.
Trouble in Store.
Oh, God, I should go on to Mastermind. With
That just came to mind, and I just thought
Is that because of Follow the Show?
Yes,
yes.
Because that was another of his.
Yeah, exactly. Do we need the number, PPJ?
Oh, go on. Can you remember it?
No, I can't. No, not that one. We need the 07712 147 236. Yes. We'll be back on Thursday with the bonus ep, Life Hack ep. Until then, hope you'll join us. I will say farewell.
And I will say goodbye.